Hey everyone, today is going to be a bit of a different video. Today I'm actually going to be teaching you how you can have one or two key cards with a selection on top of the key card somewhere in the middle of the deck or anywhere in the deck really. You can give the deck a few riffle shuffles, and after you're done, the one or two key cards and the selection is still next to each other, so you can do whatever you would like after. So let's go ahead and get straight into how to do this. So before I actually teach you it, the deck I'm going to be using today, these are the Twisted Artistry V1s, and I actually won these from Ever So Slight. I actually used these a couple of times on the channel, and I do have a deck review on these cards. So I'm going to leave that deck review down below, and I'm also going to leave Ever So Slight's channel down below as well. So make sure you go and subscribe to him. So without further ado, let's get straight into how to do this. So I'm not going to do a performance of this, but I will go ahead and do a tutorial. So first, we're going to start with two key cards here. So let's just say we use, how about the two red kings? Why not? Okay, so let's give this a shuffle, and let's go ahead and get straight into this. So, starting off this effect, one key card or both key cards, it doesn't matter, but one would be on top of the deck and one would be on the bottom. Now, for tutorial sake, I'm going to leave these both face up. Now, they would be face down, but just for tutorial, these would be face up. After you have these cards on top of the deck, and I'll also teach you a few ways you can do this impromptu at the end. Once you have both of your key cards on top of the deck, you can do any shuffles or false cuts you want to go ahead and retain. What's this? Remind me later. Okay, so I'm gonna leave some tutorials down below of some false cuts you can go ahead and check out if you would like to do those. So let me go ahead and let me make the list here, just so I don't forget to put anything down below. And okay, perfect. So once you have your rifle shuffles, your false cuts, whatever you want to do, what you're going to do is you're going to have a card selected, and what you want is not the top card, and you don't want the bottom card either. So a card from the middle. So you can dribble the cards, you can riffle down, you can spread the deck, whatever you want. So let's say they choose this card, and if they want to, they could sign the card. They don't have to, though. In this case, the Six of Clubs. After they're done remembering it, they're going to place the card on top of the deck, face down. And the first thing I'm going to teach you is if you cut the deck somewhere in the middle. So let's say the card is on top, and you have the spectator cut the deck about in the middle, give or take, and complete the cut. What this is going to do is now position your two key cards in that one selection, in between your two key cards, actually, somewhere in the middle of the deck. So, what you can do is one of two things. The first thing you can do is you can go ahead and shuffle from the bottom a small portion of cards, okay? So, this doesn't have any of the key cards, selections, it doesn't have any of that. But from the other half, near the bottom, you're going to have your setup here. So when you go ahead and you do the riffle shuffle, you want to go ahead and with the bigger half of the deck, put down more than half. Now you can go ahead and shuffle the rest of these together and finish your shuffle. So now this is going to have your key cards near the bottom of the deck with that selection still in the middle. So from the top of the deck, you can go ahead and actually show these cards face up, that their card isn't anywhere near the top. And once you get to that first key card, it would be the other way around. But you can stop and tell them their card isn't anywhere near the top. Then you can flip the deck over and you can show them cards from the bottom till you get to that next key card. And you would stop here because if you spread one more, you might flash their card. So you don't want to do that. So you can go ahead and once you get to this card, don't spread any more. So that's why near the bottom, I go one by one just to keep it safe. Their card isn't near the bottom. But obviously, if you're near the top, you can do bigger groups. You just want to be careful that you don't actually spread to their card because you know it'll be somewhere near the bottom. So that is actually the first way you can go about this. Let me show you another way you can actually do this. So let's say both key cards top and bottom, they put their card on top and they cut it in half. Well, what can you do now if you don't want the cards near the bottom? Simple. You can go ahead and riffle more than half. So now the bottom half is going to be bigger than the top half. So for this part, you can shuffle the bottom, okay? Because the top half is going to be smaller. And then you're going to end with a bigger chunk on top. So now this time, you can go ahead and show them if you want one by one, all the way to their key card. Then you can stop. Your card isn't anywhere near the top. And then for the bottom, you can do it different. You can actually spread portions of cards, or actually groups, okay, because you know their card is somewhere near the top. Don't spread too many cards, okay? So I might do two big groups like this. Your card isn't anywhere near here, and then I might go one by one, just showing them like this. And then once you get to their card, you're gonna stop because their card is right between the two cards right here. So that is actually another way you can go about by doing this. Let's go over some other ways here. So we know we have one card on the top and bottom, and they selected, let's go with a different card this time. Let's go with the two of diamonds. Okay, so let's say they have the two of diamonds. Gonna place on top of the deck. Let's say they cut a small portion from the top of the deck and they cut it that way. Well, now your key card is going to be near the bottom. So you can do the same exact thing as before. So you can either riffle more than half for the bottom half, okay? Like right around here. So you're first going to put down about half of the cards for the bottom half. And then shuffle the rest of these. So now their card isn't going to be anywhere near the top. You can get to your key card and you can show it. Your card isn't here. And then from the bottom, you can go one by one, showing their card isn't anywhere here either, which actually has their card right here, okay? So that's one way you can go about this. Let's say, okay, so we have the two key cards. Let's say we have the two of diamonds, and they cut a quarter from the bottom. Now what this is going to do is position your key cards near the top. So for the bottom half, you're going to want a small portion. So when you shuffle this, you're going to keep a big group of cards right on top. So now you can actually show one by one. Their card isn't anywhere near the top until you get to your key card. And also keep in mind that you don't have to go all the way to your key card, okay? You can go ahead and stop about halfway. This is just if you do want to go to your key card. Keep in mind their selection will be right here, followed by the next key card. And then from the bottom, their cards won't be anywhere here either, but the key card is right here. So those are a few ways you can actually go about this if you go ahead and you cut. So let's say if you cut the deck in the middle, if you cut a quarter of the deck to the bottom, or a quarter of the bottom deck to the top. Those are a few ways you can go about this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you one key card, okay? So instead of 3, you're going to have 1. So I'm going to show you on top and on the bottom. So let's say we start with this on top, and once again, do any false shuffles or cuts you would like to, just keep the card on the bottom. So let's say in this case, we have the 5 of clubs, and they go ahead and they cut about half. So you know their card is going to be positioned somewhere near the halfway mark. So I'm going to shuffle way more than half from the bottom. So from the top half, I'm going to have about 5 to 10. So I can shuffle this half, and then once I finish, I'm going to leave a big block on top. And what this is going to do is the only thing you're really going to be able to do now is show cards from the top. Okay, so you can go ahead and show your King of Hearts, and then keep in mind that actually the 5 of Clubs is going to be right underneath. If you want to, you can go ahead and show about half of them face up like this. You just want to be careful though. If you do want to spread all the way down to one card above their key card, what you can do is you can go ahead and talk to them, dribble the deck, and while you're dribbling like this, you can go ahead and pass your key card. So we know the key card is going to be right there, and then you can pass one more card. So I turn that card face down. So let's try this again. So you're going to dribble, you're going to find your key card, okay? So right there, and then you're going to find their card, and then you can dribble one more 5 of spades, keeping eye on it, dribble the rest of the cards, and then you can spread, and once you get up to that 5 of spades, you can stop. You can really play around with it and do whatever you want, but that's one way you can show from the bottom. But personally, I like from the top better. So let's say we go ahead and have this key card on the bottom and we choose a new card. So let's say in this case we choose the Queen of Spades. And they go ahead and they cut about a quarter, and then they complete the cut. Now this is going to be somewhere near the bottom. So you're going to do more than half from the bottom. So first, when you do your riffle shuffle, with the bigger half, you're going to put more than half down. Then you can shuffle these together. So now, once again from the bottom, you can't show any cards unless you show one card above the selection. But from the top, you can show all of these. And then when you get to your key card, you can stop having their card right here. So that's another way you can go about this. One more way from the bottom you can do is, let's say they have the 6 of clubs. I think we had the 6 of clubs already. Well, let's say they cut a quarter from the bottom. Well, this is actually going to be a little easier because you're just going to retain a top stock of the deck. So I'm going to shuffle off about 5 to 10 cards. I can shuffle these, and then I'm going to leave more than half of the cards on top. So now I can show all of these cards until I get to my key card. Therefore, this card is going to be their selection. So it's a real simple way you can do this. Now, let's go ahead and do a key card on top of the deck. So in this case, the King of Hearts. Let's say they select the Jack of clubs. Gonna have it on top of the deck, and let's say they cut it right in the middle. This time, from the bottom half, you're gonna do more than half, okay? So with this bigger half, you can shuffle the cards, but you want to keep more than half of the deck on top. So now, when you go ahead and you show these, once you get to your king, you want to stop because their card is going to be right here. Let's say we want to go ahead, go ahead and select the 9 of diamonds. You can have it on top. Let's say you cut a quarter of the deck and you complete the cut. Same thing as before. Gonna shuffle more than half from the bottom. Okay, so now you're gonna have to put down this bottom half first. Okay, so more than half. And I like to do way more than half just to ensure I can get this bottom stock down. So more than half, then you can shuffle these. You can complete the shuffle. You can show all of these cards now. So you're going to have a big block of cards on top. And then when you get to their key card, their card is going to be right here. And for the last one, with their card on top, let's say they select the 2 of clubs. They have it on top, and they cut about a quarter from the bottom. Well, now this is just going to position the card right on top of the deck. So from the bottom, you're going to do less than half. So you can shuffle these. You just want to keep more than half of the deck on top. So now, when you show all of these key cards, you can go right down to your king, knowing that their card is going to be right there. So that is really all of the ways you can do this with 1 key card or with 2 key cards. Really quick, I will talk about multiple key cards, and then I will go into if you want to do this impromptu. I'm not going to go over all the phases if you do multiple key cards, but it's going to be the same way. So let's just say we go ahead and let's use the 4 aces this time. Why not? And we will take my favorite ace, the ace of diamonds, and we will put him right on top. Okay, perfect. So I'll go over real quick on top and on the bottom, but you can play around just by watching the video again. If you do it in the middle, you do it a quarter from the top or a quarter from the bottom. So let's say you have the 4 aces on top, ace of diamonds, and they select a card, let's say the Queen of Spades. When you cut this in the middle, let's say we do about halfway, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to shuffle way more than half this time. Either way, you're going to shuffle more than half. And you're going to keep more than half on top because you have 4 cards. Okay, so since this was in the middle, I shuffled more than half from the bottom. I'm going to keep more than half on top. So this is actually going to be a little different because now you can show 1 key card, 2 key cards, 3 key cards, or 4 key cards, and then their card is right there. Thought it was the Queen of Spades. Okay, it's right there on top. So actually, because this is 4 key cards, let me go ahead and do this the other way. You're going to want to show from the bottom. Okay, so this is different. So you can show 1, 2, 3, or 4. Of course, don't make them all 4 aces, but their card will be right there. Let's try that again. So let's say from the top, we have the 4 of diamonds. We cut about a quarter. We shuffle more than half. We're going to put more than half down. We can shuffle these. And then from the bottom, you can go ahead and show 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you have 1 or 2 key cards, you're going to want to show cards from the top. If you have 3 to 4 key cards, or possibly even more, you want to show from the bottom. Let's put these on the bottom and see what happens here. So if we take the Jack of Hearts, we cut it in half, we shuffle. So now it's going to be about halfway, so more than half we can shuffle. You just want to keep this half right on top, and then I'm guessing you can show from the bottom. Okay, so this is going to be from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can show, and then you can show your 1 key card and then keep going. So I think I actually got this down now. So if your 4 key cards are on top of the deck, you have the King of Diamonds. Let's say we cut this in the middle, and then we go ahead and we shuffle these. You're going to go ahead and show the cards from the bottom. Okay? So then you can show the Jack of Hearts, and then you can show either 1, 2, 3, or 4. It doesn't matter, but then the card will be right there. If we have the 4 key cards on the bottom and they select a card, let's say the 9 of Hearts, and we cut this in. Let's say we go ahead and we shuffle these, keep that stock on top of the deck. Now you can show cards from the top of the deck. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, meaning their card is right there. So if the 4 key cards are on top of the deck, you want to show the cards from the bottom. If the 4 key cards are on the bottom of the deck, you want to show the cards from the top. So that is how it's going to go there. And last but not least, I'm going to show you a few ways, or actually one way, you can do this impromptu. But if you play around with this, you can probably come up with more ways. This is just what I would do. And let me go ahead and add these 2 moves to the list real quick. Double undercut. Okay. So let's say the deck is shuffled and you go and you want to do a call to call any 4 cards to the top. I'm not going to teach the call because I have a whole video on it. But let's just say we'll just choose a random card. Let's say we want the 5s. Once the deck is shuffled, you can go through and you can call any 4 5s, or not for any 4 5, but you want to call all 4 5s, if I can talk, to the top. That wasn't my best call, but let's see if I did this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So you can either have these on top, do any false shuffles and cuts, and then you can do the trick, or you can go ahead and get a break underneath these 4 5s. Whether you do a pinky count, you push off the 5s, which I will show you real quick. You can push off the 4 5s, keep your index finger on that 5. You can show all the cards are face down. Then you can double undercut these 5s, okay? Therefore, putting them on the bottom. You can really do whatever you want to get the 5s on top or on the bottom. And that's really the only thing I want to teach you in the terms of impromptu. But let's just say you want 2 key cards on top of the deck and 2 key cards on the bottom of the deck. Let's see what happens here. So we have the 9 of Hearts. We can go ahead and cut this. So now we're really going to be safe. 2 5s on the bottom, 2 5s on the top. So if both 5s were 2 5s on top, 2 5s on the bottom, I cut it in half. I shuffled more than half from the bottom. I'm going to keep more than half from the top. This time, okay, so this is really gonna help you out. You can show all of these are different. You can show your 2 5s right here. Don't go any more. And then from the bottom, you can show these. And then you can show your 1 5. And then you can end with your other 5 right here. So I think that's gonna be the video. I think that's long enough. So I hope you like that video, how you can have 1 or 2 key cards with a selection, cut them somewhere into the middle of the deck, give the deck a shuffle, and then the key cards and the selections are kept together. And keep in mind, you can do this with multiple selections as well. You just want to go ahead and keep a bigger half on top. So really quick, I'll go ahead and show you multiple selections really quick, okay? And then that will do it for the video. So let's say we have the 4 jacks with the ace on top. We cut it somewhere in the middle. We can go ahead and shuffle more than half from the bottom. Then we're going to keep more than half on top. And then when you go through here, you're going to run right into your selection, and then you're going to know to stop because of the 4 jacks. Or actually, you're going to go from the bottom. So you're going to go from the bottom, you're going to see your 1 key card, and then you're going to stop because the 4 jacks are there. Let's say the ace is on the bottom. You cut it in, you shuffle less than half from the bottom, then you keep more than half on top. Now what do you do? Well, what you can do is you're going to show all the cards on top, and then when you get to your key card, you're going to stop because the 4 jacks are going to be on the bottom. So that's going to do it. If the key card is on the bottom, you're going to show the cards from the top. If the key card was on the top, you're going to show the cards from the bottom. So that's going to be the video for today. And I hope you really enjoyed this. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any questions, you need help with anything, whatever, don't forget to leave a comment down below. And I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.